Joy Prime, the ultimate experience.
Let's start with you, PG. So, okay, there's a message here. Good morning. Glad to have PG back. I believe we're responsible in a way, not by creating the happiness, but sustaining it. Like going to church. We enter his gates with thanksgiving. We all have things that would make us happy innately and influence of your partners. Okay, and the influence of your partner is what multiplies that happiness or reduces it. Don't be dependent on another human being to kickstart your emotion in you, else you might die trying. Edem Knight-Tay 2020. Oh my God. Okay, that's from Christian. Good sweeties, I try everything possible to make my husband happy, but he has decided we make love once a year and will not communicate his ideas to you and no financial support. Please, what do you advise? Cause I am fed up. And this is from Abna. Okay. Abna, your concerns have been noted. Sure, we will talk about it. Okay. So these are some questions that have come through. Good morning, Edem and family in the studio. Happiness is something no one can give you. It's your own responsibility to be happy. You can't seek happiness from someone who is not happy himself or herself. My happiness comes from singing, helping friends, and working. If your partner doesn't like people always, if your partner doesn't like people always controlling, don't go out with this friend. Don't go for this church program. How can such a person understand happiness? Mama T has hit the point. Okay, these are comments from last week. Now, PG, we're zooming into this aspect of the conversation because I know we laid the foundation last week and I summed it up. I'm sure I spoke our minds that as individuals, we're responsible for our happiness, but our partners will have to create that enabling environment. Like she was saying, she likes to help people. She likes to go to church. And these are the things that make her happy. Now, if you have a partner that says that you can't help people, you can't go to church, you can't do this, and it's not like they even want your time for anything. They're just not happy with what you're doing. Then it means that you will not be happy. There's a partner that decides that we will have sex just once a year, and it's killing the other person. He doesn't support in any way, and she says she's fed up. Obviously, no matter what this person does as an individual to be happy, okay, maybe let's say she's the one who likes to go to church and likes to sing. So I will go to church, I will sing. But I come back to live with a partner who doesn't support me in any way. And even the sexual pleasures, he decides that it's once a year. And this is one aspect of your life that you can't make yourself happy. You definitely need your partner. How do we handle that one?
Well, Edem, good morning to our listeners. Edem, it's not a very simple thing. And for me, I find it to be selfish, to be cruel and callous. To marry somebody and without any medical reason, without any just cause, decide to deny them of that one thing in that marriage that the person hasn't got a substitute. The person hasn't got a legal substitute. Yes.
I like that.
Yeah, you can have a substitute, but is it legal? What will the law say? What would our social moral code say? What will, you yourself, knowing that you've entered into a covenant with somebody and therefore you are bound by that to keep it. How would you even feel, after you've done that? And I think that it is wrong. See, when it comes to marriage, almost everything in that institution can have a substitute outside. Even though it may not be in its fullness, but you can still have a substitute. So if your partner decide not to be your friend,
you can have friends.
Somehow you can have your siblings, you can have people you've known from the past, and people you've grown to like along the line. You can have that. If your partner decide not to accompany you for recreation, for events, for stuff that matter to you, you can always. But what about
if they don't give you money?
Yes, if they don't give you money,
genuinely, if you have to borrow.
Yes, you can borrow. Worst case scenario, you can borrow. So almost everything that happens in marriage, you may have a way. So even if your partner,
you have a woman who doesn't want to cook.
Yes, you can always hire. Yes, if you want somebody who doesn't want to clean, you can always hire. Even if you want somebody, somebody who says, I don't even want to have a child, you can always adopt.
Exactly.
But when it comes to sex, it is imperative that that pleasure is given within the marriage. Because that is the only thing that if you seek outside, regardless of the circumstance around, the society will frown on you.
Yeah.
So anybody who is married and they decide intentionally and willfully or maliciously to deprive their partners of sex, that's weaponizing sex. And that's a form of control. That's a form of manipulation. Because most people, you get to find a man begging to have sex because the woman decides to put a padlock there by wearing jeans and then maybe 3 or more jeans to sleep. So by the time you
What is that?
Exactly. So what it means is that you are weaponizing sex for an end. Or you find a woman begging a husband to just sleep with me. Some women will tell you that literally I have to jump on him. And sometimes even the erection is parboiled, if I can put it out.
Some way.
Yeah, some way. You understand? So, Edem, these things are malicious. It is of ill intent. And I don't think that there is any form of justification around it. But I also understand that some people wear their emotions on their sleeve. So whenever there is little conflict and they don't get the clarity and the solution they want, sometimes even lying down, making themselves available for that intimacy becomes a problem. Some women can't bring themselves to it, by the natural means of getting ready, if you know what I mean. And so worst case scenario, what you have to do is to probably use some form of support, some lubricant or something, just so that she doesn't finish the game bruised and hurt. Some men can't bring themselves to standing up because they feel so humiliated, so emasculated, so disrespected that you can't do these things to me. Then the next moment you jump at me and you expect me to do that. Exactly. So there is that little gray area. However, that is why the Bible says that be angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down on your anger. So you are entitled as a human being to be angry whatsoever the cause may be. But don't let it escalate to a place where, even after an apology and an attempt by your partner at reconciliation, you still intend to keep that grudge. And regardless of what has been done, it's like you go on a path of, I will punish you. I will prove a point to you. You understand? And so when you are married and you know that this means a lot to your partner, and you willfully decide not to give it, that's you being unfair because your partner may not have a way of helping themselves. There's also the bit about libido disequilibrium, if I can put it that way. That is one person is through the roof. The other person is just like, yeah, I can take it. I can take once a month. I can't be bothered. I can take once a year. I can't be bothered. And then the other, yes, and the other person also like, I want it like 3 times a day. Whenever you see me, whenever I see you, I need to get some. Brother, it's tough. so yes,
whenever, wherever.
Wherever, kitchen counter, everywhere you are getting some, So that in itself can also be a problem. And I think that in some of these things, you need external help to at least bring some form of equilibrium.
Right.
One person moving from their entrenched position, another person moving from their entrenched position. Let us meet halfway in the middle. And then see what we can do. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, the questions are popping up in my head, but Mama T, let me take your thoughts on this one.
Yes, I just will pick up from where PG left off, and so I'm saying, well, I don't know why he desires to have sex once a year, but I have met a few people like that. And this is not the women. These are the men. The men who want to have sex once in a year or once in 6 months. So if a lady wants to be a bit adventurous, she has to get handcuffs. And I mean, that is how I am telling you what I have. Yes, I'm telling you what I have in marriage counseling, where the man said, in fact, there is no problem with them. There are no issues at home. He just is not enthused about sex. So they have 3 children. I'm asking him, how did they come about? And he said, well, so they have been married for 8 years, and in 8 years they have had like 10 times of sexual relationship. And I'm asking them, did they go through counseling? And they said no. And I'm wondering if the man has any medical condition, and he's saying no. Then so we had to sit. Yes. And so sometimes it is not ordinarily libido issues. Some people just, I don't know, maybe medical people will be able to explain it better to us. But certainly for all the men that I have read about, I have spoken to, sex is like food and drink for them. It's a very natural thing. So if it is rather the man who is not happy about having sex, then perhaps something is really, really wrong. And so we must sit. But here in our part of the world, we do not use professionals. He may not even go to hospital. So seeking the help of a counselor is not something they are thinking about. I just want to say another thing, that many of our counselors, pastors, have been saying something. I have been listening on radio and on TV, and it is, women, give your husband sex. Wives, give your husband sex. And I am asking, the sex is not for men, neither is it for women. It is God's gift for both of us as a couple to use in the marriage. So whenever we are saying give your husband sex, give your husband sex, sometimes it looks as if the sex is for them, but the sex is for us. So let both of us do the sex, explore whatever it is to be able to have better sex. If you are, perhaps I'll be going forth and back with what PG said. If there is a problem, sit down, look at it, solve it. If both of you can't solve it, seek for external help, and then get back together in this area. Because for this one year, it is an unnecessary punishment. Whatever it is an unnecessary punishment. So eventually, if this woman is unable to take it, and it's also to be understood by everybody that women have two nerve endings, it means that most of the time, women need sex more than men do. Perhaps they have not been told. Yes, look for a medical doctor and ask them, do you know that most women would have double orgasm in one sexual encounter? So it means that women need a lot of sex. See how beautiful women glow when they have plenty of, don't go there, I don't like that. Why are you like this? See how beautiful they glow. I mean, when they have proper orgasm. And you are keeping your wife 1 year, and you are doing, what do you seek to gain in this? If there is a problem, let's sit and talk. Sex is for women too. It is for wives. They need it for everything. You need your bones to stretch. You need your face to look beautiful. And so you need proper orgasm. Yes, you need proper orgasm. As long as it is there. As long as it is there, then give it. Yes. So what is it that we are doing? Sometimes in marriages, the men are doing some things, especially the church brothers. They are doing some things. They are not free. They are still thinking of Holy Spirit in the bedroom. He is there. It's understandable. But he's happy because he gave us this gift. Let us, yes. Did you say amen to that? We'll take an offering after here. Right? So I don't know. I still can't go through the process because I am wondering what it is. But I have sat with a few people, and I have also noticed that it is from church. For those I start with, it is from church. We were two Krife brothers. We were such Krife sisters. So the church had to push us into getting married. So when we got married, we still see this sex thing as very carnal. And then we did not go through proper counseling to know that this is not carnal at all and that God is very happy about this. And so do it and do it well. And so that is, I still can't understand why he's doing this. Right.
Someone said, I don't know, it's a video I watched, says that men like sex, but women love it. Men like it, but women love it.
Yeah.
To mean that, and this is what she explained, I thought she was right to an extent, that a woman may not be asking for it often, but the few times you give it to her, if it is done in its entirety, you make sure the approach is right and everything, they tend to love it and enjoy it better than even you, the man, because the stage is set right.
Yes,
you know. So
you are talking to her nicely. You are cuddling her small.
That
you are doing all the things.
Women love it too. I am happy about the foundation we're laying because I have some questions I will ask right after this, and that's for me. That's my agenda. I like the foundation, but I have an agenda, so we will zoom into that agenda. Now, Ariel, so Yeah, your initial thoughts on this before I ask my. I mean, that's the only question I have to ask, and the show will be over.
Okay, okay. So I will start from the psychological side of all this, and a lot of people have psychological issues, but they themselves don't even accept they have a problem, and so they don't seek help. And how we are introduced to sex from childhood or adolescence or our teenage have a lot of influence on how we psychologically psych ourselves about sex before we get married. So sexual abuse has a way of affecting people. Some people, after being sexually abused, becomes more sexually active, and anything in skirts, they want it because they didn't understand it, and it was, pushed on them at a younger age and all that. Some people too, after being sexually abused, they resist it and they don't like it and all that. So it's all psychological. So if you find yourself that a normal thing that is supposed to be enjoyed in a marriage, you think you can't do it, it's once a year, you should know that then there's something wrong. But as Mama T is saying, people don't like to accept that they have a problem psychologically and seek help to see where the problem is so that they break it. Because I know that if you say you can't have sex, you only have sex once a year, straight for me, that's a problem. Sure. And you have to accept that there is a problem. If you don't accept there's a problem, you won't be able to move forward to do something about it. And then this poor young lady is suffering. And somebody will say, what will she do? She can't go out there and have it, as PG has explained. That's the only thing. You can't go out there and take it for free and come back and say, I'm fine. Yeah. So you are punishing her. Her well-being, her mental state is at stake right now. What can she do? And there are a lot of, reasons and things that she can do in that interim to support herself, though it's not so easy. And one of them is to come to an acceptance. If the man is refusing to seek help, come to an acceptance of where she is, that this is my problem. This is what I'm living with. This is where I find myself. How best can I live with this? Now, acceptance is one of the most difficult things people like to do, but that is the foundation of living. It is the foundation and the beginning of change. Once you accept it, you'll be able to make, the wisdom will come from your spirit to make certain changes.
Even if it affects your well-being.
If you accept it, acceptance will not
does not sit well with you, but just for the sake of probably peace and progress. I take it.
For your own well-being is where the acceptance comes from.
But I am not happy about what I am accepting.
You have to be happy about it because that's what it is. What I mean by acceptance is you accept that this is the man I live with. This man says he has sex once a year. I'm not going to have sex in the year. Now, when you accept, you have to make peace with where you are. And that is, and that is why we struggle a lot.
Ariel, this one is difficult.
Okay, it is. I said it from the beginning. It is. But fighting it is also difficult.
Exactly.
Okay.
And as one of my coaches, Eckhart Tolle, would say, there are 3 options in every situation. Change it, leave it, or accept it. The first foundation is acceptance. When you accept it, that is when you can, your wisdom can come to be able to move forward and make changes that will sustain you. But if you fight it, it's still not sustaining your well-being. Because this person has also made a choice. And every choice you make from someone's choice is either taking you towards high-level wellness or premature illness. So acceptance and making peace with where you are is foundational to our well-being. It is what it is. This man is saying no. So, okay, let me come to this place of acceptance. So once a year, how can I manage my emotions, my needs between this period until the next year? And what can I do for myself to get out of it? If that would be the next option you have. Do I have to get out of it? Can I tell someone to seek help from somewhere? But fighting it is also affecting you. Changing it is also affecting you. Acceptance gives you peace.
Yep.
Glad you're watching us, and we're happy that I am picking a thing or two for my home, and I hope that you're doing the same, because the essence of these conversations are to help us build stronger ties with our partners and with our families. So welcome on board, and always stay here. 6:15, we're live on Joy FM and on Joy Prime. We're talking about, am I responsible for my partner's happiness? Are you ultimately responsible? And we started this conversation last week. We're continuing, but today we're focusing on the sex. That one thing that only your partner is responsible for the happiness you derive from it. That one thing it's run through all the submissions. You can get it anywhere. And submissions have been made. Very beautiful. Ariel and I, we're not agreeing on that one. No.
Yeah.
Like what? The person decides that. And see, this person has gone into themselves. He has thought through it and decided that once a year. It's unacceptable to me. It does not make me happy. It will not take me anywhere. And for all you care, this partner may want it twice a week with no conversation whatsoever. You reduce to once a year. And some way, somehow.
You're supposed to accept it.
Yes. And Senepa.
And I'm wondering,
Yeah, if you accept it, there's a next step you will
Which
go,
is what?
which will be your decision to make. But if you are struggling with it, you are reducing your well-being from that place.
You should have finished the thing.
You started fighting now.
didn't allow her
No,
to finish.
there is a need for acceptance before you can make it.
Okay.
You can move on.
So the acceptance is that.
In all things.
The acceptance is
In all things.
this is what my partner has decided to do.
Yeah.
I probably have had 1 or 2 conversations around it, and you realize the person is
It's not
entrenched,
changing.
the person is adamant, and this is what they have decided to do.
Forever.
Okay, at this point in time, what do I do?
is next?
I will have to come to the point of accepting that this is what you have decided to do.
Yeah.
This is who you are.
Yeah.
And then you begin to make the next,
Yes.
take the next
Yes.
step.
Yes.
Okay, Ariel,
Yes.
clap for yourself.
But Adam, I still have a question. I want to meet this person, Pa. I'm asking, when it is 1 year, who calls, for the match? Is this man getting sex outside? I mean, I don't get it.
Well,
Yeah, PG was saying something too.
you know, yes. So talking about the man getting sex from outside, let's be very honest with ourselves. This is a conversation most of us want to skirt around and not actually land on it. But hey, this is me. I say it. You know, for all you know, not for all you know, some people also marry for specific reasons.
Oh, yes,
Okay,
sure.
people marry sometimes for business reasons.
Yes, true.
So I want to marry X lady because I'm thinking that I need to be at a certain age when I'm done paying school fees. For instance, my kids need to grow up in a certain environment. I need a certain woman who will join me, carry out my personal agenda in life, and then all of that. So after I've done all my
And
analysis,
sometimes women to make these
exactly
decisions.
good. So after I'm done making all this analysis, I settle on Lady X because she fits or ticks
Perfectly
all
into
the
the
boxes.
boxes.
But maybe I don't find her sexually attractive. Okay, yeah, I don't find her sexually attractive. But then beyond sex, and I'm a very pragmatic person.
Yeah.
I'm not saying me,
Yeah.
but the
No,
person making
you're
that
talking-
decision is a very pragmatic person. And he realized that sex is something that potentially I can get from somewhere else. But this woman and all the things that she will bring,
with.
it is not something I can just get on the street.
Yes.
So I will settle on this one. But my secondary school sweetheart, or my college sweetheart, or my
Somebody else in the
office colleague that have been having this thing going on for like years, is still there. And probably he or she is willing to accept the deal because ultimately, if I am happy in that marriage because of who I am married to, some way, somehow, he or she also get to benefit. So people are married, they are getting the sex elsewhere, but they are just in their home procreating with their mates. Making business decisions with their mate, building empires, becoming millionaires with their partners. But sexually, they are getting elsewhere. Sometimes your first encounter with the person will tell you, oh, what is this? Are we joking here? Is this like real sex? And then that's when you say, Charlie, I beg you, you'll just stay as my husband or just stay as my wife. But the thing will be getting it from somewhere else. So people have reasons. And this can also be one of the reasons why this thing is going on. Because unless there's a medical condition like we've all established, what on earth will make somebody go for 1 year? I mean, it's not like you are not married. For you to say that, well, it's a form of chastity. Exactly. But you are married. The thing is in front of you. We all go to the bathroom. We come from the bathroom. Nothing.
So in having these conversations, I notice that, I mean, it comes up every time we talk about these things. You can never overemphasize the objective for marriage.
Yes.
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 The objective for marriage will always come to play. Why are you here?
Exactly.
If you're in it for the right reasons, knowing that this person is my partner, maybe, like we preach, you abstained until marriage. And you marry and then you realize that, okay, it's not what I would have expected. But if the marriage was for all the right reasons,
Yeah.
then you would be willing to work at it.
Exactly.
But then if it wasn't, like
Yeah.
PG is saying, it means that, okay, this person is working for me is working well for me by ticking these boxes. The other ones that we are not ticking, we don't need to worry ourselves
Yeah.
about it.
We'll
We'll just
get
get
it
it done
sorted.
elsewhere,
Yeah.
and then we are fine. Okay.
Too many wrong reasons why people are getting
Now,
married.
Yeah.
I'm
And
coming
which
to my
explains
question.
why there's a high level of divorce.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
immediately, as they say, now once your partner discovers that,
Oh,
so
we're using
all
you on
of
the
this, like I was being used, or I was being played, once they get it, then you also
Nothing
want
works
out.
again.
Now I want to come to my
Your
question.
question.
Yes.
That is the show.
Yes. The show is over. So
I'm sure it's a powerful question.
it's a very simple question, actually. Very simple question. We actually have delved into it, but I just want to put it in context. So you probably realize that PG gave some backgrounds. Your partner, it could be that the person has a health problem. Okay. If it's a health problem, then it can be solved. Because I remember there's a lady on my phone. I still have, forgive me, but like a sex problem attached to, her name. Because I was asking all the questions. My husband doesn't do this. He doesn't touch me. Sometimes I'll take the kids away. We'll do this. You do that. Whatever it is that you do, he will tell you, oh, next week. Oh, next 2 weeks. Like, oh, give me 3 months and let's see.
Oh, Jesus.
And
Lord.
she said she did everything. I asked, does he cheat? He says, no. He'll wake up in the morning, help me wash, do this, do that, cook.
Everything.
He will do everything.
Minus.
When it comes to me getting close, there's a problem. I'll take the children to grandma, there is a problem. And this is the man. Okay. And she says, I followed him, and I realized that he's not seeing anybody too. So I asked, but does he have like the regular morning erection? And then she says, yes. Yes. And I said, okay. Then you know what? Let's talk to a doctor. So I remember we spoke to a doctor and they asked them to come. You know Paddy?
I know.
They saw Paddy. They went to see Paddy. He called me and says, Edem, problem solved. I'm like, how? Problem has been solved. And it's not because the man didn't want to do it. He was on a certain medication. Medication long before he even got married. And so even when he wasn't married, his libido had
Also
gone
is-
down
right.
due to the medication. So the edge wasn't there. And so when we got married, it still didn't make any difference. I didn't think I was doing anything differently. Rather, I would see it as you are the one putting so much pressure on me because my life had been so cool. With
Without
all
you.
this today, I tried. And every time you want it. So they were examined, medication was changed, and they are fine.
Praise God.
He didn't even know that
That was
that
the
was the
medication was
problem
affecting
he
him.
had.
That's why it's
Right.
good to
And
seek
he's
help.
fine. So all I'm trying to say, in some circumstances, you can deal with it, especially so when we both acknowledge that
Yeah,
there
there's
is
a
a problem.
problem.
Yeah.
We need help.
We
Yeah.
can deal with it.
Yeah.
So those ones are quite okay. Even if it means that you have to wait for a year or two for the problem to be dealt with, we know we are working at it. Now, in this case, for instance, where it is a decision somebody has made, based on whatever it is that they are feeling, that we have had issues with sexual preferences.
Right.
I want it this way, I don't want it that way. We are either doing it this way or we are not doing it that way. I know a couple whose marriage had to break down because the man wanted anal sex.
Oh, yes.
The woman tried to give in 1 or 2 times and realized that this I
take it.
can't do.
This is-
And he says,
What?
that is the only way I find pleasure. And so I will give you the regular sex, but you will have to let me find pleasure this way. She says, I ain't doing it. I can't. I tried to meet you, but I realized that I cannot.
Yeah.
And so I can't do it. Okay, you can't do it. I don't find pleasure in it. And so marriage broke down. So that's a decision that was made. So in this case, I want it this way, I don't want it. This is what makes me happy. This is what doesn't make me. I want it quite often. Me, I don't want it often. I don't need And you know, there are men who tell you, I do not need a counselor in my marriage. Don't go and talk to anybody about me. I am a very, like, level-headed man. I know what I am doing. I don't want to do this. And you have such huge, entrenched places when it comes to sex in marriage. And people are unhappy and they are suffering. So we have come to the point of acceptance that this is our situation. What do we do? I've ended the show.
Okay. Yankwe.
Yanko.
Okay, so you've accepted that your partner wants anal sex and you don't want it.
I've tried to give it.
You tried and you realize it's painful and you don't want it, and so you stopped. And he says, then I can't do anything again. That's all I want. So I'm going to get it from outside or whatever reason he gives you. And you say you can also have it from outside.
We live in a beautiful house.
Yeah.
So there are times that it's our home. You want to have, have you in the garden, be nice about it. No, it has to be in the bedroom, on the bed, lights off, curtains drawn.
Hey.
That is what it has to be. You are in the kitchen, I come, tap you a little, and then, some men can be very romantic like that. Turn the stove off and then it gets kinky. No, the food will burn, please. The place for this is the bedroom, and you have all these restrictions around this thing, and people are just not happy.
Yeah.
So we have accepted that this is our situation.
So, Mama T always talks about counseling, marriage counseling from the beginning. We always talk about communication when you are courting. We've shared all these things on the platform. So let's say you didn't know your partner's sexual preference before you met them. So you didn't do due diligence, and you didn't know that this guy is going to ask for sex in a pervert way that I can't, take. And now you are married to the man and he's asking you the way they want sex is only by this. You have two options.
Which is what?
Which is do it or live. It's I don't know why some indecision is killing people. You have to make a decision. If you don't make a choice, you've made a choice.
It's true.
So if you don't make a choice to either do it or live, then you've made a choice to suffer, to struggle, to see him, to endure it. And if you want to endure it, are you ready for the consequences, what you pay emotionally, mentally, physically, what you pay to endure it? So you have to make a decision.
As simple as that.
As simple as that. That is me. I always take my things so serious by acceptance. And when I do go through the phase of acceptance, I'm able to make the most difficult decision without blinking an eye. If I have to live, I will live. And so if you have to live, and that is the only option, then you have to. If he says don't call in a counselor, don't go see a doctor, don't bring it, what do? You can live the rest of your life at the mercy of someone's choice. You have to make a choice too. If you have to live, I'm sorry, you live.
Whoa. Right. So it wasn't a very difficult question after all.
Ariel
has poured water on the
question. There was a time I was philosophizing and exploring the concept of for better, for worse.
Okay.
That basic concept for better, for worse, or for better or worse. It is part of the Christian marriage vows.
Yeah.
Different churches say it in different ways, but it's all take its root from the old Catholic text that the Anglicans changed a little bit or modified a little bit. The Presbyterians, the Methodists, different people are changing it and everything. Whether people say for better, for best, or whatever. Yes, that's inconsequential. What matters is that there is either the possibility that in this marriage there will be better or there will be worse. In my interpretation of it, what I came to realize is that when we talk about for better or worse, we are looking at incidences and cases and situations that are exogenous to the marriage, things that are from outside that afflict the marriage. So you get an accident, and therefore you are crippled, and therefore you lose your ability to have an erection. That is the worst the Bible is talking about, or the text says. If your spouse loses their job and they are unable to provide financially, that is the worst. Everything that somebody does not have control over but afflicts the marriage, that is the worst.
True.
And if it is good, that is the best. But where people maliciously...
And in those ones, PG, you're both expected to stand.
To stand
and to deal with it.
Because so that you are not a fair weather
for the
friend
other, yes.
or a fair weather partner, where once something bad happens, you jump
Then you
ship.
jump ship,
Because I didn't choose it.
You didn't choose it. You don't have
Great.
control over.
Yeah.
Good.
Great.
Yeah.
But in instances where you see somebody willfully
Choosing.
exposing another person to
do
peril,
harm.
to a form of peril, because this is a form of peril, ultimately you are not telling them to go and cheat, but by your actions, you are predisposing them
Yeah.
to cheat.
Yeah.
So your actions will set the ground for them to take certain life, personal or selfish decisions that may have lifelong consequences. One of them is infidelity. Okay, so when we say for better, for worse, you don't maliciously create an avenue for the person to suffer and then still hold them to that text that says that for better, for worse. So
Great.
what it means is that you are literally sending the person to slaughterhouse and
Yeah.
say that make
Great.
sure you don't die. But I've
Yeah.
sent you the slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
Just make sure you don't die. And then when they die,
found
you
myself
blame
in this
them.
situation.
When they die, you blame them for dying.
Yeah.
Like you sent them to a hail of bullets. What were you expecting? For them to disappear into the thin air? So when people, and I'm saying this because of most of the Christian counselors out there who use this text to make women or men stay in abusive marriage. The person is abusive. That is evil.
Yeah.
It is not contemplated in that
narcissistic.
text when the text was being written. People have malicious intentions. And I use the word malicious because it's malice. People have malicious intentions towards their partner. What will provoke you to pull a cutlass and gut somebody's son or daughter down? And then somebody is saying that, well, at least you didn't die. He cut you a little bit. Don't worry, that's what marriage is about, for better, for worse, so go back. No. That's evil.
About you as
So
well.
in the same way, do you know that when you don't have sex with somebody for, I think, 2 years or something, it's a
2
ground for
years.
divorce?
2 years.
Yes, it's a ground for divorce. And if
That is why this person is a very smart guy.
so,
Once a year.
once a year, so that
Every year he
He strikes a law.
never get to 2
You will
years.
never count 2 years.
exactly. So when I think about some of these things, all I'm saying is that while I agree that in marriage things happen, like this friend of yours that you talked about, the
Yeah.
fact that they were taking medication,
Medication.
therefore it affected them.
Yeah.
These were things that were not intentional. They were not contemplated.
Yeah.
They didn't even know that was a problem.
Yeah.
But when somebody willfully,
Yeah.
intentionally decide to deny one person of their pleasure, that is malicious.
Great.
And that is a base. So that I'm saying that to buttress the point Ariel was
Ariel
saying,
made.
that some of these things you just need to pick your bag and baggage and walk, because then the person would have breached a pivotal part of the marriage contract, which is conjugal responsibility, making sure that your partner is satisfied. So I have a friend of mine who will tell me that, PG, today I'm going to have a dutiful sex. So you are my counselor. You tell me that I should go and have sex. So I'm going to lie down for him to come on top of me and do it, and then I'll get up and wear my dress and go on.
Why did you say dross?
That's the word she will use. So let me repeat it. And then just move on with my life, because if I don't, I would have breached something that's fundamental to the marriage. So some people are willing to do it as a duty. That is what this marriage is about. Making sure that whatever interaction you are having with your partner sexually, it is good in the eyes of an ordinary thinking Ghanaian. It is very important.
Yeah.
But if you don't do that, there is malice somewhere there.
Yeah.
Sure.
But this
And
is
the
what I
malice
think,
is what
Edem.
we
I
have to
think
live with
also that in most of our churches, I will always come back to the church. It is abstinence. So whilst we are in courtship, we are not asking relevant questions. Some of people even do not talk about sex at all, because if you talk about it, then you are doing it, or you are going to be
Tagged.
no,
do
no,
it.
to have
Tempted
to be
to do
tempted.
it.
That's the
Yeah.
word. To be tempted to do it. So we are not talking at all. Why would you be in a relationship with somebody for 4 years and you are saying that I don't know his sexual
pleasures.
preference, because you did not ask? Look at this thing I was telling
But
you
Mama
last
T,
week.
some people pretend as well.
Well,
You would
so,
ask
yeah.
so
them.
if you have pretended, and if that is pretension,
Yeah, that's
and
also
then
evil.
when we
That's
get into the
malice.
marriage, then you were
Yeah,
you were
because if I
lying
ask
about
you
it.
and you tell me that, oh, I love anal sex, I am so gone.
Yes.
I want to
So
ask
you
the
won't
next
tell
question.
You won't look at this person I was telling you last
will
week.
not ask
We
the
are,
next
we got
question.
married, and in the marriage, just the first day, the man says, first two weeks we oh no, let's rest. Then it starts with anal sex. She didn't stop him in the beginning, so they go on. She allowed him 7 months, and now she's saying that no. Now he reports to the pastor's wife. Pastor's wife said, "Hey." Then they go and meet pastor. Apparently pastor knows.
Sure.
But this man is a kingdom financier. So we can't say anything to him. So I can't do it again. Then she meets her parents, and parents are saying, my dear, please, this man is our ticket to
Mama,
riches.
oh, please, don't. Why is this question? You just took the thing off. I wanted to share it immediately. Wow.
And
The
so-
one about the coronavirus. Exactly, Mama T. You can add it to what you're saying. It says I am diabetic and hypertensive and therefore taking the corona shots. My wife has deliberately decided not to take the shots.
Yeah.
She's putting me at risk. I have decided not to have sex with her, not to put me at risk. I have therefore decided to go for another woman who has been vaccinated.
Corona, they are some member. Corona, they are some member.
Wow.
Oh, and you
And the
think
person is asking, will I be wrong?
you are very wrong. I mean, I emphasize on very. What kind of question is this?
are
I would
happening
look
in
at. I look
homes.
for you after this.
But
this
the wife too.
And
The
she
wife
should go
too.
for
I
the
mean,
shot.
Be a little bit considerate.
Considerate, yes.
I understand that maybe she herself may have a just
Yes.
cause for which she is probably a little bit averse to taking the shot. But knowing very well that your
That
lack
the
of
husband,
action
yes.
actually directly puts somebody's
Like
life,
someone's.
on the line, especially when it is not just a regular everyday guy,
Yes.
but somebody who has underlying conditions, who have a higher possibility of dying because of that. I mean, Charlie, do it to for.
But does he know the
Please,
woman who has
righteous.
already had the shot already? I mean, the way he's
Onokradium so which I
right. So I'm saying, so we meet parents, and parents are saying, look, you can't go there. Your husband is our life.
So stay.
We have a house over. We have a house. We have a car. We are on his payroll. And so please stop it. As we speak, she left. She left 2 months. I knew where she was. Now she's saying that I won't even let you know where I am. Perhaps you would have to bring in your plenty counseling thing. I am just saying that if the person lied to you at the point where you were in relationship, that this, and then you come in, then that person has deceived you.
Yes.
And yes,
And it's
deceit
malicious.
also, yes, deceit is also so wrong.
A ground-
that you
a
can't
ground
do
for
anything.
annulment.
Listen, yes, it's a ground for
Annulment.
annulment. So we are just saying this whole sex thing is beautiful, and I love where you are coming from. The for better for worse thing, but don't intentionally create a for worse situation and punish another person where you know that what you are doing is so wrong. It is just so wrong. And sometimes I don't speak against men, but whenever I sit in counseling, it is 70-30. It is 70-30. We are so massaging a lot of our husbands' egos. Society is saying that everything must be for the man.
the man,
Everything must.
absolutely.
I know there are women who are so adventurous. Too many women are also doing too many wrong things. But on the average, a lot of us, we are massaging our male egos. Whatever my husband wants is what we should want. It is either his way or
no
the
way.
highway.
Yeah.
And so we are just trying to make homes out of houses. Let us come in. I have met young ladies, very young ladies, who have had their husbands go have one accident or the other. And as we speak, they have no use of their manhood. And these young ladies are staying. I mean, they have stayed. The one I know recently, it's gone 6 years, and she's still staying. Her husband is saying, leave. She said, I won't leave. Just what you were saying. But certainly, if you are creating an environment where somebody should cheat or somebody should feel pain, then certainly you have no right.
Great. Good morning, Edem. I don't deny my husband whenever he comes around, but almost all the time when I take the initiative, he has a reason to deny me. I feel embarrassed anytime it happens. I am worried because it looks like it's always on his terms, which hurts. And these are the things we're talking about. Good morning. I love this program so much, but the host loves it more than me. Oh my God. Look at the way she loves you, the program. God bless you, Edem. This is Japheth from, of course, I love it because I get to learn a lot, and that's how I want you to enjoy it. I'm curious, is that sex toys, okay, are sex toys and Christian such that persons starved of sex can't resort to them? If the person doesn't want to go outside their marriage because their partner refuses to give them sex, could sex toys be a legal and safe way to satisfy themselves?
I say yes. I say yes.
Yes. Okay. Mama T, would you?
Go to PG.
I say yes.
Well,
But no, it's a no for me.
It's a no for you.
well,
Great.
well, well, for me, whatever happens in people's bedrooms, so long as it doesn't make one person feel less of themselves and less dignified, I don't want to get into that. So
Okay.
I'm agnostic about it.
Great. Caught my husband cheating, and I confronted him, begged him to stop several times, and he never said anything. I caught him masturbating, and now he stopped sleeping home. I'm tired. What do I do?
Caught him cheating, caught him masturbating.
And now he doesn't
He
sleep
doesn't
home.
sleep home.
So could it be in this instance? I mean, why would there be a woman around and then my husband is masturbating? And not even, let's not talk about the cheating bit, because the cheating bit means that probably he has his own issues or whatever. But the masturbating bit, now he doesn't sleep home. Maybe, madam, you may also want to ask yourself a few personal questions.
Yeah.
Questions of
What am I not?
hygiene, questions of preference, questions of skills and stamina, questions of even desire. Because if the guy goes out and now he's not even going out, but now sorting himself out, then probably there is a gap somewhere, And some of these things, Charlie, let's be honest, you may want to sit down.
But
and
I have also
have
met
a
a
conversation.
husband who has everything. I mean, everything is going. It's
Okay.
apparently it's a learned behavior.
It's
from
an addiction.
Yes,
It's an addiction. Yes.
So over
So
time,
Masturbation can
even
really-
just when he's done with his wife, the
He's
next
so-
time
Goes
he's
back.
Okay.
Masturbate.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
And there's this one, maybe it'll be the last one we'll take. He says, "Hi, Edem. Your team has done justice to the topic on the table, but in my view, one factor is missing. In my view, marriages that came about out of other circumstances rather than love mostly end in the situation you're discussing. I think we agreed on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That the foundation, the objective for the marriage
It's
is
faulty.
always critical, and it always comes to play. We cannot overemphasize that. This situation has been the single most bruising and recurring conflict in my situation for the past 11 years without an end in sight. Edem, please give my number to PG. Please, it's done. This is from Osei, madam.
Wow. All right.
Okay, so let me check the time.
Time is up.
here.
Oh, we have
Wrapping
just
up.
2 minutes to go. And so in 30 seconds, we'll just wrap up. Let me start with you, Ariel. 30?
Okay. So, I mean, I will say that we started this conversation on happiness, but happiness is not something you buy. It's not something you take. Happiness is something you create with how you are interested in your own life. And so, as much as possible, always try to check the choices you are making.
Great.
Where is my choice taking me? Am I just responding to someone's choice and that is what is affecting me? Or can I make another choice? And in wellness, all we are saying is you always have another choice.
All right. Mama T.
And I am saying that the parts of happiness that you can create for yourself, do it. One of my beautiful mornings, Saturday mornings, happy
Practices or
moments
rituals.
has to do with what will happen immediately after here. I always die to listen to Langabe's prayer. And then the fact that Reuben doesn't understand too much and he keeps calling Sammy, Sammy, Sammy. That is I laugh. In fact, every Saturday morning I look out for that program. So that is one create beautiful moments of
Moments,
happiness
yeah.
for yourself. Problem no go finish. Don't kill yourself.
All right. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, what I would say, I mean, as far as this topic is concerned, is that let's be considerate with the needs of our partners. You don't want to set them up to do something and then later use it against them, give a dog a bad name and hang it. That is not what we are supposed to do. So if you think that you have a problem which is psychological, seek help. If it's medical, seek help. If it's a question of how your partner relates with you, which puts you in a position not to want to be intimate with them, talk about it or seek help. But whatever it is, don't weaponize sex and use it against them. It affects a whole lot of things about them.
Thank you very much, PG, Mama T, and Ariel. That's just what it is. Create that enabling environment for your partner. But if it gets to a point where they are weaponizing it, they are happy and they want to hang you. Ariel says that accept the situation you find yourself in and begin to make a decision in honor of your wellness.
Absolutely.
It's important, and I think we all concur, right?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Next week, we're zooming into another zone. How to have difficult conversations.
Edem.
You will love it. My name is Edem Knight-Tay, and thanks to my team, Maoli, Daniela, everybody. God bless all of you. We're back to you next week. Bye.
Joy Prime, the ultimate experience.